Good morning, good evening. Today we keep covering the GameStop Wall Street Robinhood saga. Spoiler alert, it gets worse. When the White House was asked if they were monitoring the situation, they said, "Hey, didn't you hear? Our new Treasury Secretary is a female. Isn't that more important?" Seriously, let's get into it. Before we begin, I don't want to be accused of being CNN fake news, so here's a clip of Jen Psaki, the new White House press secretary, being asked if the White House is monitoring the situation and saying, hello, female Treasury Secretary? Take a listen.
Is the White House concerned about the stock market activity we're seeing around GameStop, and now with some other stocks as well, including the subsidiary or whatever, the company that was Blockbuster? And have there been any conversations with the SEC about how to proceed?
Well, I'm also happy to repeat that we have the first female Treasury Secretary and a team that's surrounding her, and often questions about market we'll send to them.
Why is President Kamala Harris getting us into war in her first week in office? Hold on a second. First female president? This is historic. Check your questioning. Interesting fact about our new female Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen, is that in the last 2 years, she made over $7 million in speaking fees from these banks. A hefty list, if you ask me, but I'm sure she's not on the side of the banks or anything. Don't worry about it, guys. But enough about Janet. Let's talk Wall Street. If you haven't seen my previous video on Wall Street, I highly recommend you do so before continuing. At the end of trading yesterday, several large Wall Street hedge funds were wrecked because retail investors, the little guys, were backing GameStop, Nokia, BlackBerry, AMC, and Blockbuster, among others. Millennial nostalgia, if you ask me, but it had a tremendous impact on Wall Street. These hedge funds lost billions of dollars because they were shorting these companies, betting that their value would go down when in fact it went up. But that's not the story here. The real story is the establishment's response. First, the media attack. We saw yesterday that Vice liked an r/Wall Street bets to white supremacists. Classic. Then we had a CNBC contributor saying, hey, maybe there are foreign powers at play. Maybe Russia?
We like the stock. How is that bad? Or do you think that they're concentrated and doing some sort of manipulation if they say they like the stock?
Well, I don't know if they're concentrated because I don't have subpoena power and I can't really go out and look at it. I could argue I don't even know if there are foreign powers at work here behind the scenes trying to make chaos.
And today, CNN was kind enough to bless us with this headline. How Trumpism explains the GameStop stock surge. Once the media established that the people betting against Wall Street were Trumpist white supremacists, it was time for Chapter 2, The Purge. Reddit nuked r/Wall Street bets. You want to join their community? Sorry, can't do it. Discord completely banned them off their platform. Oh, you enjoy your community? Sorry, Trumpist white supremacist. Don't go against the establishment. Learn your lesson. Now, having ripped apart the white supremacist Trumpist communities, it was time for Chapter 3, helping your establishment friends. Robinhood, Cash App, Ameritrade, at the same time, and colluding, decided to stop trading on AMC, Nokia, GameStop, BlackBerry, and Blockbuster. Even worse, they didn't just stop trading, they only allowed you to sell. And this could have a snowball effect. People panic and sell. And then, if you're holding some stock, you only have one option, actually two options. Either you could sell at a loss, or you could be left holding the bag. Yes, this is a bubble, and this is what happens when bubbles burst. But this bubble is different. It's not based on value in the stock. If people are doing this for the memes and to bring Wall Street down, they don't think that these stocks have value that they don't actually have. And the bubble didn't burst naturally. It was the platforms bursting it on behalf of the establishment, who, by the way, can still trade as they please. Now I want to talk about an even bigger picture. People are comparing this to the Occupy Wall Street movement, when the left and the right united against the establishment and Wall Street. Occupy was before my time, but people who were there claim that what brought down the movement was identity politics. Some cynical people would say that it was purposefully injected to tear down the movement. Comment your opinions down below. It may be true. Now, some of you may be asking yourself, why would anyone purposely inject identity politics into the Occupy Wall Street movement? And the short answer is to tear people apart. Let me read you a short excerpt from an article that breaks it down a little better. However, if anyone truly clashes modern wokeness, it is the traditional class-focused left. The idea that race, gender, trans v cisgender status, sexual orientation, and many other things represent unique identities which, one, can only be understood by those possessing them, and two, provide legitimate basis for political activism, constitutes the tallest possible barrier to the creation of a unified and organized working class. A unified and organized working class. That's why people that have power don't want a unified working class. And that's why they do anything to tear them apart. And that's why identity politics is just the perfect thing to do so. Because you'll just divide everyone into the most meaningless groups. White, trans, black, half. This movement is reminiscent of the early days of the Occupy Wall Street. We're seeing lefties like AOC tweet out and agree with Donald Trump Jr. and Ted Cruz. What? Let me read you their tweets. The admirable AOC. Gotta admit, it's really something to see Wall Street with a long history of treating our economy as a casino, complaining about a message board of posters also treating the market as a casino. Then, from Donald Trump Jr. It took less than a day for big tech, big government, and the corporate media to spring into action and begin colluding to protect their hedge fund buddies on Wall Street. This is what a rigged system looks like, folks. Hashtag Robin Hood, hashtag Red Army, GameStop. Is this the unity we so desired? And I think this also shows why Trump was elected and why he was a good president. Trump was a rock. He was the people's rock. And not as a rock as in hard times we can hold on to a rock. He was a rock as in we can throw him against the wall and break things. We can throw him against the establishment and break things. And a lot of things broke, but some more things need to break. This also showed us that a lot of the money that Wall Street makes is, bullshit, a fabrication.
Not this time. We created it. Not this time. No, not this time. It's totally made up. Pure fiction. It's fiction. It's fiction. We made it up. We made this one up. It's a made-up tale. It's a total fabrication.
Maybe we end up uniting, but not if identity politics, white supremacy, and Trumpism is part of the conversation. Drop your critical theory, and we will have a better country. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe. It's free. See you next time.